Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back. Boy, another week of some NASCAR racing abroad. No, actually, it's the first week that we went abroad in a long time. But welcome back to Zip It Up Pod. I am your host, Daniel Kozy. I'm by myself tonight. So, the last few weeks, y'all have gotten a little used to hearing some other voices on the pod with me. And I can assure you going forward that there will be more voices joining in the weeks ahead. But tonight, it's just me, myself, and I, and you listening. And I'm glad you are listening. Thank you for listening. Some big things are coming to the pod. I wanted to start the episode off just by sharing a few things with you. And then, of course, we'll obviously get into the racing action that happened this past week, and we will preview Pocono in this episode. But some big things are currently in the works for the podcast. So in the past month, we've started making video format podcasts. We didn't do that for the first probably dozen or so episodes, but now not only do we release audio, but we record using video format, and so that has enabled us to do some more things, like have more people on, and also create more content for social media. So we've also, just in the past month, we've had 4 different guests join the pod, and because we've had so many people join, because we've done video, we've actually gone over some of our time allotment, which I'm all right with. Um, But if you're not sure how podcasting works, you pay a little subscription fee, and then that allows you to record a certain amount each month. It's a monthly fee. And so this past month, we actually went over the time that we are allotted. So that's a good thing. And I believe going forward, we might keep going over. And that is all right. That's the goal. That's the plan anyway. So that's just what's happened in the last month. It's really opened up some ideas, and we're getting into spaces now that possibly in the next 2 months, we're looking at having several new guests join the pod. I'm having conversations behind the scenes about getting not only some more of my friends, but also some people on social media that I've run into, and possibly some people that might be connected to the sport. So we will see where those conversations lead us. But those are my hopes. Those are kind of my dreams right now and my vision for the next 2 months. We're going to have some new voices still join the pod, but also I think we will welcome back some familiar faces to the podcast. So some returning guests are in the works right now. And then 2 months from now, we're hoping to take the pod on the road. And I can't make an official announcement just yet, but we are really close. I did get something approved, but now we're just finalizing some details. And so when we get that announced to you, we are looking on leaving this room, leaving my house, and taking the podcast somewhere on the road. And I can't wait to share those details with you. So stay tuned. Those will be announced on social media, and we will talk about those more in the upcoming episodes that we have. But that's all I want to share for now without giving too much away. So I'm sporting the new look. It's summertime here in Central Florida. I had to get rid of the hair, so we went with that buzz. We got that 3-guard like Sam Hunt told me to get. Anyway, tonight, drink of the night. We are back with the same beer we had last week. This is it's called High Volume from Sideward Brewing. And I went and restocked because it's that good. And so this is a pineapple upside down beer. It's a sour, not too sour. But notice I have a mug that I put it in this week. And that mug is from Twin Peaks, one of my most beloved restaurants. I have one complaint about this mug, is that when you bring it home, the beer's not as cold. But I'll figure that out. Anywho, I've drank out of this mug thousands of times. Gotta be. I don't drink that much, but that much. So I didn't know you could ever take one home or get one to take home. I didn't take it home. I bought it. It was $10, and I felt like that was a great investment. So drinking out of my new mug, one of my favorite beers. It's going to be a good episode. But I do have a toast for tonight, and so this is going out to all the international fans of NASCAR. This past week, NASCAR went to Mexico City. Daniel Suarez won the Xfinity race right there in his home country of Mexico. And then SVG went on to win the Cup race. He is an international talent that has come over and taken, I guess you could say, he's taken the reins on being the road course ringer right now in NASCAR. He is the standard when it comes to the road courses. And then, so not only did we go to Mexico, but we had two international winners. And then our podcast, we have listeners from 7 different countries. I'm really excited about that one. We're such a young podcast. I think we're right around the 20 episode mark. And so when I upload a podcast, I can usually watch the stats, what it brings in, how many listens or downloads I get, and I also get to see locations. And so to see 7 different countries listed, that's pretty neat to me. I have no clue who those people are listening to us, but NASCAR and podcasting are going global. And so tonight, this drink is for the international fans. We love you, and we drink with you in celebration of a great NASCAR weekend in Mexico City. Gosh, that's good. That is so good. I look forward to having more of that throughout this episode. But that has to be one of my favorite perks of bringing on guests to the podcast, because when I talk by myself here on the podcast and I just do an episode by myself, I don't feel like I should be taking 5 seconds to take a sip every now and then, even though my voice need it. So when I have other voices on with me, that allows me a few seconds to indulge in the brew. And man, I love that. So, anywho, we're here. We're going to do a little Mexico City recap. And of course, we'll get into all of our Hendrick talk in just a bit. But this past week was Father's Day weekend, and I didn't get to see a lick of racing again. So, Sunday afternoon, I was playing golf, and I got to say, it was just a normal golf day. Didn't score good, didn't play well, extremely hot outside, missed the race. I did play the par threes okay. I had those dialed in a couple times. I put a couple shots within 5 feet, and that was the highlight though. Kind of wish I would have caught some more of the race. I have tried watching it over the past 2 days, but such a long broadcast, it's hard to fit everything into it. So what I did is I rounded up all of the talking points coming out of Mexico City, and I'm just going to give just a quick little opinion on it. And I don't think it's going to take too much time to get through these talking points leaving Mexico City, but these are things that must be mentioned. And so we're not going to go any further without talking about Daniel Suarez winning on Saturday in the Xfinity Series. So when he won in Mexico, we've all seen the clips. Again, I wasn't watching, but I saw the clips of the fan reaction. Looked awesome. But I gotta say, as great as it looked on TV, it must have been amazing to have been there in person. It had to have been so much better being in person, because there's some industry personnel that have, that were at the race, and they have said that it felt like Dale Earnhardt Jr. winning at Daytona in 2001. Now, when Junior won that race, that was the first time NASCAR had returned to Daytona International Speedway since the death of his father, Dale Earnhardt Sr. Um, and so when Junior won, it was all NASCAR fans know it. It's one of the biggest moments that NASCAR has ever had, and it was badly needed at that time. Like, who better to win that race? And that was my first race that I ever went to. I know that I've shared that story on one of our first podcasts that we did when I get to share a little bit more about me and you meet your host, like the first episode I think we ever did. I um I recount that story, and there's no better feeling than I was 10 or 11, and Junior won that race, and it was unreal. It's one of the best moments I've ever witnessed. One of the best sports moments, obviously. It's one of the coolest things I can say I was at. Um, yeah, glad to have been there. That was my first race. Like, why wouldn't I fall in love with the sport of NASCAR having been there? And I know that all those fans in Mexico feel the same way. Like, how can they not fall in love? How can you not be romantic about NASCAR after seeing Daniel Suarez wreck earlier in the weekend? He wrecked his primary car, had to go to a backup car, and didn't even look good. It was plain colorless. And he drove that thing from hot to, you got to spit on that thing. He drove that thing from worst to first in his home country. First time we've gone over there. And yeah, how can you not be romantic about that? It has to be probably a top five NASCAR moment. That might be saying a lot, and I might be a prisoner of the moment right there. But what Suarez did on Saturday was huge, and it should never be overlooked. It's going to go down as a great highlight in NASCAR for many years to come. No one, I mean, no one has to feel bad or have negative thoughts about him winning that race. It was just a storybook kind of chapter that we got to all read together on Saturday. And what's crazy is he did it in a junior motorsports car. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. got to go celebrate that win with Suarez as well on Saturday. But man, wish I was there. There's a lot of moments you can see on TV and wish you were there for. That has got to be up there in the top five for sure. Uh, then on Sunday, SVG, because I don't want to try saying his real name, his full name, but SVG handles business. He was the favorite to win the race, like he's going to be at every road course we go to. Um, and it kind of makes me think that he just might break some road course racing records that are held in NASCAR, like Jeff Gordon. He's the all-time leader with 9 wins. Uh, Chase Elliott has 7, but Chase hasn't won since they've been in the next-gen car. However, this is SVG's second road course win. And as much as we race road courses now, 5 or 6 times a year, that's the reason that he's in that full-time ride, is to go lock in a playoff spot every year and win at the road courses. Jeff Gordon's record might be in jeopardy for sure. And SVG, he's not a young guy. He's young to NASCAR. He's not a young guy. He's upper 30s, I believe. So even with him being a little bit older, still feels like he's got a really good shot at breaking that road course record one day, all-time wins anyway. But this past week, he won by about 15 seconds over second place. And what I'm hearing from different people is that he really only had one other guy that could challenge him, and that was Ty Gibbs. And Ty Gibbs ended up on the wrong side of a pit cycle, is what I'm understanding. So unfortunate for Gibbs, but still, SVG might have still won that race, even if Gibbs, even if things worked out for him. So we'll probably never know, but it looked like the only one car had something for him. So that's how good SVG was. And, he won the pole, so he started first, finished first. Looks like a dominant day from SVG. And so even after he won the race, he's still 30th in the points, but he's locked into the playoffs now. And so, yeah, he's not He's not great on ovals. We kind of expected this up front. He's shown flashes that he can be competent on the ovals, but we know he is a road course ace. And yeah, the field is in trouble anytime we go somewhere that you got to make left and right handed turns. And then the last talking point coming out of Mexico City is a fun one, but we do have a, how do I want, we got a certified rivalry. Yeah, we now have Stenhouse versus Hocevar going forward. Everyone knows it. Everyone can see it. And even Stenhouse has said, when we get back to the States, I'm going to whoop you. And so right now, I'm currently having trouble picking a side. Because here's the thing, I like the Hocevar kid. He's got great speed, but even more and more so, we see that he brings on self-afflicted doubts or conflict, and going forward, that's got to stop. So if he doesn't figure things out and learn very quickly, he's never going to advance his ride. But he's proven that even in the current ride that he's got, which I mean, Spire Motorsports number 77, not insanely valuable. But you think it's probably a stepping stone to where he's supposed to be next. Because even in this ride, he looks good. He's got great speed. But he keeps bringing on these self-afflicted issues. And to be honest with you, I've come to really like Stenhouse over the past few years. He's just a guy, like, he's never going to go away. Not going to He's not ever going to finish top 10 in points, maybe even top 15 in points. He's going to be a threat to get a playoff spot, just like SVG at the road courses, but Stenhouse on the super speedways. He can certainly go out and win at a super speedway. He's just always going to have a ride. It feels like he's going to be doing this for the next 10 years, where he's a threat like 3 or 4 times a year. Besides that, he's just there to run middle of the pack. And right now, it feels like his goal is, he probably wants to make the playoffs, but he's slowly fading from that playoff contention. And a lot of that is due to Carson Hocevar running into him. And so, we will see how this plays out. I'm kind of on the fence of both guys. Kind of like little bits of them, kind of don't like little bits of them. So we'll see how this works out. I like Stenhouse sticking up for himself, because that was a boneheaded move that Hocevar did on Sunday. I know it was a mistake. He obviously did not mean to run into Stenhouse, but you got to pay for your mistakes too. So we will see what happens with that rivalry going forward. But it is time to talk Hendrick Motorsports Day from Mexico City. So we're going to look at them team by team, and we will begin with the guy that had the best finish. And it should not be a surprise, because last week I picked him to be our Hendrick Motorsports winner. Not so much the winner of the race, but to win amongst our 4 drivers, and he did. Chase Elliott started 12th. He went on to finish 3rd. He got a podium spot, which, little side note, I don't care for the podium either, but when you go to Mexico City, or when you go international, when you go somewhere else, you need to do things the way that they do it. And even when it comes to celebrating, forgot to turn that on silent. But even when it comes to celebrating next to the 2 guys that beat you, I'm cool with having a podium moment. And so, yeah, we had a podium finish by Chase Elliott, and he scored stage points in the first stage. That was pretty much it. This was kind of what we expect from Chase Elliott at a road course. He's really good at road courses. Even though he has not won in the next gen car, he does have the second best average finish in the next gen car. The only guy better than him is Chris Buescher. And so, I mean, that could quickly change as we have more road course races this year. Chase has never been a slouch at the road courses. But this has been a little bit of a down season for him. So to see him finish 3rd, it is a bright spot for the team. Now, our next best finisher was Alex Bowman. He started 29th and then went on to finish 4th. He scored stage points in stage 2, and this was a gritty and a gutty performance from a team that badly needs it. He is probably about 2 months ago, we were very confident in saying Alex Bowman was going to make the playoffs. But here we are. Last couple weeks, he has dropped very rapidly in the point standings. And so now, as we have more and more winners, like SVG winning this past week, takes one of those spots from the playoff bubble. And yeah, Alex Bowman has been dropping. So this past week, this was a race that 48 team needed more than anything. And we'll see if that happens to roll over and maybe they can build some momentum towards securing a playoff spot because it just feels like they're running out of time. Next, we had William Byron. He started 27th. Not a great qualifying performance, but he went on to get a top 10 finish. He finished 9th. No stage points, and he's still the points leader. But this was one of his down races this year, and I cannot help but think that this might be the summer slump that we are used to seeing the 24 team go on. So please, please tell me this is not the beginning of the summer slump. However, if it is a 9th place finish as the beginning of your summer slump, I'll take that. So, anywho, Larson had a rough day. He started 6th, but he went on to finish 36th. He had the fastest lap of the race, so that's awesome. But he was taken out early in the Kyle Busch accident. Kyle Busch, I don't know exactly what happened. I watched the replay about 10 minutes before I started this podcast, and that boy was like a bull in a china shop, as my mom used to put it. He came in and collected tons of drivers, and Larson was one of them. Ruined Larson's day. Didn't look like Larson had a ton of damage from it, but just set him back. I don't know exactly what kind of damage he got. If he ended up running the fastest lap of the race, must not have been too bad unless he ran that fast lap early. So I'm not quite sure. But yeah, that's usually what happens to Larson. He either finishes top 5 or he finishes last 5. So that was our day at Mexico City for the Hendrick boys. Now it's time to take another sip. Boy, I sure do love that stuff. All right. Let's take a look at the current playoff standings before we go into our Pocono preview. So, again, we're focusing on the playoff standings now because it's getting to be crunch time. So, in the playoff standings, Larson is currently first. He has 23 playoff points. But William Byron is fourth in the playoff standings with 12 points. However, in the overall driver standings, Byron is still first. He's the only guy that has more than 600 points this year. And Larson is second in those standings. He's minus 67. The reason I mention that is because the regular season champion does get a bunch of bonus points at the end of the Darlington race, which I believe is our cutoff race for the playoffs. So if Byron keeps it up, I think that's about 15 playoff points he's going to get, which right now would jump Larson in the playoff standings. But we'll see. Even though it feels like it's right around the corner, there is still a lot of racing to be done and a lot of points to be had. Currently in the playoff standings, though, Chase Elliott is 11th in the point standings. So we've had 10 different winners this year. Chase is the highest driver in the point standings that does not have a win. Right now, he's plus 146 points to the good. So feel confident right now. But if he goes on one of those Bowman slides, then we're not going to be feeling too good. And then speaking of Bowman, he is right now 15th in the points. So he's not on the bubble, but he's really close to it. This past week, he helped himself out a little bit. He is plus 22 to that last spot in the playoffs. So right now, all things are good. If the playoffs started tomorrow we would have all 4 drivers in. We expect in about 9 or 10 weeks, whatever it is, we expect to have all 4 drivers in, but we will see how things play out. All right, so let's talk Pocono. The Tricky Triangle. Yeah, unique track coming up. This is a classic NASCAR track. And Hendrick Motorsports has had a great history at this track. We have 79 races under our belt. This week will be the 80th Pocono race that we've had a competitor in. And but in the first 79 races, we've got 19 wins, 14 poles, 78 top fives, 140 top tens, and we've led 3,456 laps. All of those categories we have the most in. So we lead all categories for all race teams at Pocono. Now, I'm going to share, our current drivers' individual history at Pocono, and you're going to find one thing a little odd is that we do have 2 drivers that currently have won races at Pocono. It's not Larson, it's not Byron. Chase has a win, and Bowman has a win. And so that means the other 17 wins for Hendrick Motorsports came before our current roster. So we are hoping to add to it and maybe get a 20th win this week. But Larson has 17 starts at Pocono. He has no wins. He does have 1 pole. He's got 5 top 5s and 9 top 10s. He's led 158 laps, and his average finish is 11.6, which is the best among our 4 drivers. Chase Elliott has 15 starts at Pocono. He's got 1 win, no poles. He's got 4 top 5s, and he's got 10 top 10s. He's led 67 laps, and his average finish is 13.5. William Byron has 11 starts at Pocono. No wins. He does have 2 poles. He's got 3 top 5s, 6 top 10s, 130 laps led, and his average finish is 9.4. So I was wrong about the Larson stat I just shared with you. Byron actually has our best average finish from the crew, 9.4. Okay, and then Alex Bowman has 15 starts here. He's got the 1 win, no poles. He does have 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s. He's led 34 laps, and his average finish is 17.3. So with that being said, let's look at some of the betting lines from the Hard Rock app, and then we'll make our predictions before we get out of here. Yeah, the betting lines. I was looking on the Hard Rock app. This was about an hour ago. I wrote these down. So Denny Hamlin is your favorite to win the race this week. He's plus 425, and I'm pretty sure that he's tied for the most Pocono wins. I know he's got 6 Pocono wins. He might be tied with Jeff. I don't know for sure. I should have looked that up before I started this pod. But currently, out of all drivers, Hamlin is the biggest threat at this track. He is having a good year. So, congrats to him on having the newborn baby. But now that he's had a week off and he didn't have to go to Mexico, he will be coming to Pocono, probably feeling pretty fresh and ready to go at his best track. So it's going to be tough to beat him this week. Plus 425 is his odds. Larson has the second best odds at plus 600. William Byron has the third best odds at plus 650. And then Chase Elliott has the 7th best odds in the field. He's plus 1,400 this week. And Alex Bowman is plus 2,250 this week at the 15th best odds. I kind of like both of those last 2. I feel like they could be turning a corner. And so those are some pretty good odds that they're showing a little bit of a turnaround and improvement from where we've been the past couple weeks. Now we're going to a track where Hendrick is successful, and most notably, those 2 guys have won here before in Hendrick equipment. Okay. So notables that I wrote down. Brad Keselowski is plus 1,750. I'm just not sold on that. he stays a little bit higher in the odds every week because he is a former champion of the sport, because he's got 30 something wins to his name, but he just is not a threat. He's below SVG in the point standings. Brad is 32nd in the point standings this season. So he just, every now and then, they'll show flashes of speed, but I'm just not sure that he can. I don't know if he can even run top 10 this week. So plus 1750. I'm not even looking that direction, but watch, he'll probably win now that I said that. Briscoe, this was interesting. He's plus 2,500. And this is a guy that came off of, three straight polls a few weeks ago. And I mean, we know he's got the speed. I think we spent a few minutes talking about it last week. Chase Briscoe, he's having a good season. Okay. Um, he's got 4 or 5 top fives this year. And I don't think that should be overlooked because that kind of caught me by surprise. But that goes to show you that he's actually running well this year. And he's in Gibbs equipment, where we know Denny Hamlin is going to be tough this week. Ty Gibbs, we're seeing him turn around also right now. And, Briscoe he's that driver that will surprise you. About 1 or 2 races a year that out of nowhere, he's going to be a contender for the win. I feel like this week could be maybe that week for Briscoe, and he's plus 2,500, so something to think about. And then Josh Berry, he is plus 4,000, which Josh Berry doesn't really strike me as a Pocono kind of driver, but he also didn't strike me as a Las Vegas style driver. And that's where he won earlier this year because he was so fast. We know he's got that Penske equipment, so plus 4,000 will be something that we need to think about when we're placing our bets this week. So with that being said, let's make our predictions. Sorry, folks, I got to take another drink before I tell you who I'm picking this week. Let's begin with our Hendrick winner. Again, this is not so much to win the race, but who's going to win amongst the 4 of our drivers, who's going to be the biggest threat to win the race. And because we know we're going to have a threat, it's really, really difficult not to pick Larson. Feels like he's due. He doesn't have a whole lot of tracks that he hasn't won at yet. This is one of those tracks that he doesn't have a win for. So we could definitely see Larson win. Obviously, Byron is good everywhere they go. I feel like he's a threat at every track. He doesn't have a weakness, I don't think. But I just have a funny feeling this week about Chase Elliott. And I don't know why. It's just a funny feeling. The last time that I had this kind of a funny feeling was last year at Texas. I actually did place a bet on him, and he went out and won that race. That's the last time he won a race. But yeah, I have something inside of me that's just saying this week is that week for Chase. We will see. I could totally be wrong. I've had a lot of funny feelings in the past, and they were false. But I can't really ignore the feeling that I have going into this race. Obviously, I think you can make a case for any of our 4 drivers. But I'm going to go with Chase this week for whatever reason. I am in a NASCAR fantasy league, so each week we get to pick 2 drivers, but we hold a draft. So I can't just pick anybody. But I was faced with the decision of picking Larson or Chase Elliott. I had both of them available when it was my turn to pick. And the fantasy league, though, it seems like I always curse the driver that I pick. So I did not pick either one of them. Hopefully that means they're in for a good week here at Pocono. I would love to see them battle it out for the win. But yeah, Chase Elliott's my Hendrick winner this week. We'll see. My non-Hendrick winner, I'm going to go with Chris Buescher. He's just he's too good of a driver to not be making more noise than he is. So, you look at that playoff bubble line area-ish, anywhere from like 13th to 20th. Those are guys they're having good years but haven't broke through yet. And they're threats. Chris Buescher belongs in that class of drivers that hasn't been great this year, but at any moment he could string off 2 or 3 in a row. He's done that in the past, so this is a place where you got to have speed. And it's something about Mr. Consistent, Chris Buescher himself. I got him as the non-Hendrick winner. And again, I could obviously go with Denny Hamlin. It would make a lot of sense, but we don't want that this week. We don't want him breaking any records, so not going to pick the 11. I will pick the 17 of Buescher. However, I do have one long shot, and his odds are not much more than Buescher's odds are. But Chase Briscoe, I think he's plus 2,500. Yeah, I just shared it with you, didn't I? Yeah, plus 2,500. I'm going to take that just for the reasons I said a few minutes ago. He's looking pretty good. And again, this could be the week for any of these 3 guys that I just predicted. We'll see how it plays out, but felt like I did take Briscoe in the fantasy league, so it would not surprise me to see him finish 30th. But I got to go with him as a long shot. I'm not super confident in many others below him in the odds. So that does wrap up our Pocono preview. I'm going to wrap this episode up. Keep things a little bit shorter than they have been lately because going forward, we're going to talk to more and more people. And that will increase some of our watch and listen times. But get some Primanti Bros if you're in the area. I know Pocono is in Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania has Primanti Bros there. So I don't know many other restaurants to recommend for you. I've only been to Pittsburgh, and I'm not sure how far Pocono is from Pittsburgh. But if there's a Primanti Bros within driving distance, take advantage of it. Okay, get that sandwich. And that's all I got for you on the recommendations. But the weekend schedule looks like this. Trucks race on Friday at 5 o'clock. We don't have any entries in that race. And I didn't see Corey Day in the entry list. So really nothing for us to watch for in the truck series. However, Xfinity races on Saturday at 3:30. And we do have a Hendrick Motorsports entry in that one. Chase Elliott will be driving the number 17 car for HMS on Saturday. So that's maybe another reason I got a funny feeling. It's a lot of times these guys can race on Saturday and learn a ton. And Chase needs to use that to his advantage this week in Pocono. But of course, the Cup races on Sunday at 2 o'clock. And the Tricky Triangle, we will hopefully get our 20th win in Hendrick Motorsports history at Pocono in our 80th attempt. So we would have 25% win percentage if we can pull it off. But yeah, we're going to sign out for now. Come back next week, okay? This is the last race for the seeding of the in-season tournament bracket challenge thing that they're doing. And so next week, we are going to look at that bracket, seeds 1 through 32, and we're going to make our picks. I think it's like a 5-week tournament that they're going to do. We're going to make our picks, and I got a special guest coming on for that one as well. I got a special guest that I've talked to and confirmed that they will come on and make their picks, and I'm really excited about that one. So they're not going to sit with me through the entire episode, I don't believe, but I do want you to catch those picks next week, and I would love for y'all to participate as well. The bracket challenge will be available online somewhere, probably NASCAR's app or website. So we will all look at that next week on the pod. We'll make our picks, and should be fun to check out and to follow along with. And so, that will be next week's episode. Looking forward to it. Again, keep your eyes out for some more news and announcements coming on social media. Again, things have really been popping off lately. If you get a chance to go to our TikTok or our Instagram, I did put out a reel from last week's episode when I gave my spicy take on Chase Elliott, and that got us a little bit of traction. I'm not going to sit here and say that it went viral, but it has a ton more views and interactions on social media than we have for any of our other posts. So it just shows that the page and the podcast are currently growing. More and more people are starting to see us and find us and interact with us, which is fun going forward because it's going to open more doors and opportunities, which I can't wait to announce next week. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, y'all have a good week. Enjoy Pocono. And yeah, we'll talk again next week. Later.